Hatchlings, it's Dragon Feather, and welcome back to the channel for our super special spooky episode to celebrate Samhain. And today is a little bit different than the content I normally create. I wanted to make this super special and do a channeled message kind of chat with you guys today. And before we get started on the messages that I will be pulling intuitively for today's video from the universe, I wanted to kind of explain what's going on screen here. So this is a little Samhain altar I have created for the spirits to do some divination and just to, have a good wholehearted spooky evening, if you will. And the candles that you see, not just the ones in the cauldron, but just the 9 candle flames on the altar, represent the spirits or the loved ones that are beyond the veil. And we have the bell on the crow's beak to bring in all of that good energy, and there's some other elements on there that just represent kind of the season and things of the sort. So that is kind of what's going on screen here, and I wanted to kind of just let you guys kick back and relax and watch this beautiful candlelight flicker while I discuss the incredible importance of this holiday and pull messages for us as a collective. If there's any messages we need to receive intuitively, I'm channeling my higher self to speak for me and through me, so I can deliver any messages that we may need to hear for the new year going into 2020, and it may be kind of intense, so let's get on ready to do this, shall we? The sounds that you're hearing in the background are a improvisational recording of a sound spell or a song spell that I created to offer the spirits who may be tuning in with us, whether you know it or not, or who may be tuning in while I'm creating it as well. Is something that I do in my own craft and is never done in a way that's supposed to be anything but raw and in the moment. So I hope that you enjoy hearing a little bit of that kind of music that I make. It's totally different than songwriting. It's like a very magical form of it. But leave a like on the video if you want to see more kind of content like this. So, Samhain, one of the greatest times of the year for us witches, and a time that most of us actually feel like we are our most powerful, and I am one of those who feels the most powerful during this time, and I'm quite certain that the majority of you guys tuning in to this video are the same way. So leave in the comment section below if you are not that way, if you are not all about Samhain, if it's not your favorite, to let us know what's your favorite. But if Samhain is your favorite, leave in the comments what your favorite part of Samhain is and why it's your favorite. So for me, it's the magic. It's the way that I feel. It's the way that my body awakens during this time. It's the way that I feel like I can breathe easy, that I'm excited for the next day. It's everywhere. It's the clothes that I get to wear. It's the events that I get to go to. It's the people I get to spend time with. It's the food I get to eat and the flavors and scents I get to smell and taste. It's all of it that really just sets my soul on fire. And I used to really be all about winter. I was born in winter as an Aquarius, and I personally used to be obsessed. And then something just happened and switched me after I became a witch to where now it's like autumn is the best, and I should have been born in October. But that's just me personally. This time is a really important time of year because it's a period of reflection and of consideration for the year to come, while also taking a look at the year that has been. And it's a cycle that starts again and has concluded all at the same time. It's the rebirth, the life, death, and rebirth that really plays into this holiday that I really love and enjoy and like to tap into when it comes to my magical work or my crafts or anything like that for the season of Samhain, of course. And now, in all honesty, is a time for us to really be setting our intentions for the year to come. We have a couple of months before the new year for the rest of the world starts, before 2020 is here, and let me tell you, my friends, 2020 is just meant to be such a magical year. So we don't have much time, but time doesn't exist, and all we have is now. So all we can really do is just honor it now. And Spirit had a different idea for what they wanted me to create for you guys today, because I was going to make something entirely different, and now I'm here channeling my higher energies, having a conversation with the Hatchlings, doing the best that I can to, just be the best that I can. It's really like that simple, try to be better than who I was yesterday. And I'm really getting that type of feeling for 2020, and this year that is to come. This new cycle is all about becoming the best versions of ourselves. And as a collective, not only is that gonna put us far ahead on an individual scale, but as a collective, it's gonna move us forward into the dawn of a new era to really start taking shape in physical form, and not so much just this idea that everybody's talking about, if you know what I mean. The past couple of Samhains that I have been pretty bad, and not to say that like the holiday was bad, but just like I didn't do anything, and the stuff that I did do was just like not in resonance with like what I wanted to do. I didn't make any plans. They fell through. People wanted my time. I didn't do what I wanted to do. And it's such a special day, Samhain is, and there's like such a stigma of like spending it with people and like going out and partying or trick-or-treating or doing some sort of activity in a social scene, And I have really not wanted to have a Samhain like that for the past like 3 years or maybe longer, and this is the first one where I actually get to be by myself in my own space, and I got the opportunity to do what I want, and I like to celebrate Samhain multiple days in a row, and I like to do that with many of my Sabbats that I celebrate. Well, I celebrate all of them, but many of them I do like go over the top and extra and celebrate super hardcore for all of them, and that's something that I really want to do in 2020, and something that I'm really excited that I get to start this New Year cycle here on Samhain with an experience like that, because it really reminds me of when I first discovered the craft when I was like 13, and I was only by myself practicing. I didn't talk to anyone about it, very broom closeted, and I just kind of locked myself in my bedroom and would mess around with the things that I've just naturally collected through life, and all the candles that I could get my hands on in the house, and all these nifty little things I could find to build altars with, just working with what I had. And it was such a magical time that I really don't feel the same unless it is autumn or like Samhain is the same feeling that brings that vibration back, that brings those memories back, because of course I started discovering witchcraft in autumn. Who wouldn't, I guess? I mean, to each, we have our own journeys, but I guess in my case I'm not surprised that that's how it worked out when I was so very young all those years ago. This particular Samhain is also really important to me because it's the first one that I'm spending not only by myself, but it's the first one that I'm spending by myself as an adult, and it's the first one that I'm spending by myself as a practitioner who's been practicing for a decade, and that to me has been a really big deal. And I've honestly gone through so many like up and downs in my life, and have hit so many really dark, depressing, and scary rock bottoms that I didn't think I was gonna bounce back from. That just this holiday in particular, because we do celebrate those beyond the veil and honor those who have passed on, it just really makes me grateful for life more than any other holiday. And I really feel like that's the original intention of Samhain anyway, is to make sure that you cherish the life that you have, that while the wheel is turning and the days are getting darker, that we have each other and we have the love that we share and the bonds and the memories that we create. And that is what is magic. Memories are magic, and you can completely transport yourself somewhere entirely that doesn't exist anymore, or that has never existed before, simply by making memories with people and creating experiences with those that we love. And that's why I think there's such a intense like social stigma to be social on this holiday as well. But at the same time, it's so important to have those like social moments with yourself too. And it's a very self-reflective holiday. It's a very shadow worky holiday. It's the time when we really need to dive deep into who we are and what we want and what our purpose is and why we're here and why the hell have we not done the things that we want to yet, and how can we get there. And I feel like with how fast everything goes, especially in my life in particular, with how much I'm trying to keep up with like my business and making videos and crafting and shipping orders and all of this like hustle of life, you know, that I often forget and don't take time to myself. And this Samhain, I just wanted to remember the reason why I took a break for social media. You know, not saying that I'm like gonna go on a break from social media right now or anything, but I'm just saying that like taking that time to be with yourself is exactly what you should be doing during this holiday. Even if it's like you just gotta like break away to the bathroom for a second and like take 5 minutes to just like have a moment with yourself, that counts too. Those moments count, even if they aren't many, and that's totally okay. And it's sometimes those are the best moments and the best magical memories that we even create for ourselves, are those little tiny ones that we take in the middle of the chaos of life, you know. So that's kind of where I've been at this Samhain, and I really have wanted to take a step into myself as like my true, like take a step into my true power, if that makes sense. I've been very disconnected from myself, and I've been on this path of reclaiming who I am, and I finally feel like I'm pretty much there, and it's just really exciting to grow and have life unfold before my eyes. And Samhain is the greatest time to set your intentions and cast your magic to make those manifestations come true in the new year. And it's the best time to work that magic and do that divination, to see beyond the veil, to see what there could be, to see what is and what may come to pass. And I really encourage you guys to do some sort of magic that is geared towards your dreams and your goals, your life aspirations. Do divination in relation to it, or something like that, even if it's simple as just taking, like I said, like 5 minutes, like just take a moment of silence to yourself and like have that, like right now, like think about it right now while we're having this conversation, while we're just chilling and hanging out right now, you know, like think about what it is that you want. And you know, it's never too late to cast spells for that kind of magic, for manifesting that. And even if you know you didn't get to do it right on Samhain, even if you didn't get to cast your magic on the 31st, that's not the point. The point is to do it when it feels right to you, as close as you can get it to the time that works best. And there's no need to be ashamed of how you practice and how you live your life and how you love and how you grieve and how you feel and how you exist and who you are. Like this holiday, this Samhain, any Halloween in general, is a time for us to really truly embrace and even flaunt with pride who we are as witches, as magical folk, as the ones who see the unseen, the ones who know of the occult and the mysteries of the unknown. All of those of us, we own today, and we own this night, and we celebrate with those who we love, who are here, who are beyond the veil, and all of the spirits wandering in between. it's just a great time to really get in touch with that darker side of yourself. And we got to do that by acknowledging our shadows and our fears and the things that have hurt us the most. And when we behave a certain way as a reaction, where does that come from? Our childhood. What is the thing that hurts the most in childhood? Can we even remember our childhood because we blocked it all out? Are those things that you want to have in your life? Do you want to have those memories blocked out of your life experience? Or do you want to face that darkness with the power of your magic and your guardians and the spirits who love and cherish you by your side, helping you to fight those fears, to fight those shadows, and to hug them and love them instead of fighting them? Because you don't need that internal conflict, and this holiday is not about that internal conflict. It's about embracing and loving and celebrating the darkness. It's about accepting it as a part of our world, and so many of us ignore it pretty much on any other night, and some of us even still do try to ignore this night. But for those of us who know, those of us who really embrace this time, then don't be afraid to like really harness the energies for like a few weeks while it's happening, you know, like the week of and the week before and after it's happening. Like all of that time is a good time to get in touch with these energies. So don't beat yourself up if you missed like a certain window of hours that you couldn't do your thing. So don't fret. It's not a time to be hard on yourself. It's a time to rest easy right now. Before, you know, I was a witch, I always felt that Halloween, I could truly be myself. I could come to school dressed in the craziest of makeup and wearing the darkest and scariest of clothing and wearing red contact lenses and pointed teeth and horns in my hair, and all of it just made me really feel like myself. And even though I didn't know I was a witch at the time, I certainly was one, it's true, but I just always felt called to this holiday, to Halloween. It's always been my favorite. Of course, Christmas was always a close second, but Halloween, there was just something about it, and it was always because I felt like I could go out in public and not be ashamed of how I really wanted to be, how I really wanted to live my life, how I really wanted to dress, and how when I dressed this way in what most of modern day society or mainstream society would consider a costume, it felt like I was dressing up in my skin, my real skin, the skin that I wasn't born with. And I will always hold Samhain close to my heart because of that, because every year I feel that way, and every year I'm so excited to just get the opportunity to have fun and play with spooky things and to play in the darkness, you know. Like, I may not be the biggest fan of horror films, but I certainly love death, and I love darkness, and I love decay, and I love all of those things. I've always been the weirdo who collects bones and shit, and it's just, I'm so happy. I feel so alive during this time, and I know I'm not the only one, and that in and of itself just makes me feel like I have this like camaraderie with those who feel the same by this time of year, and to know that this day has come and gone in cycles, far many more moons than I have ever seen or will ever see, is just a really humbling experience, to the point to where I'm so grateful that I even get to experience any Halloweens or Samhains at all, because that, it just feels like a privilege. It feels like a blessing every time, and that's why I love starting my new year on the Witch's New Year or the Celtic New Year. It's such a sacred time, and I love honoring those who are beyond the veil. I've always felt like my friends were beyond the veil, and this is why, it's just another reason why my catchphrase is stay kiki, cheeky, and freaky, because I always was that way and no one liked me that way, and I always felt like I was the best at being like super on point for Halloween attire and aesthetics, because it just was the aesthetic of who I am. Spooky is just the aesthetic of who I am, and that's another reason why I've decided to keep a autumn altar all year round, is because of how much I connect with this energy and how much it really makes me feel powerful, and I just can't get that with any other time of year, nor have I ever really gotten that from any other time of year. I have always had a lot of dreams about 2020, like precognitive dreams, and they haven't always been the best. There's been this like one reoccurring dream that is just like these giant titan primordial dragons of the elements just destroying humanity with their might, because we've hurt the planet so much, and that like really scares me every time, because it's like they pretty much were just like, no dude, we're gonna just use natural disasters to get rid of humankind because we're dragons. And I don't know, I get really spooked by natural disasters because of that, and it's always kind of like pointed around the year 2020, and I'm not about to tell you that I'm predicting a doomsday. That's not what I do on this channel. But what I am telling you is that for me in my life, 2020 was always meant to be a really big deal for me and a really big time. And in these 2 months before January 1st, I am planning and making moves to make sure that everything is in its place for 2020, because I don't want to miss a second of it. I want to enjoy it. I want to create, and I want to just live with 2020 vision, seeing clearly and embracing myself and just what I love to do. And the more creative I get these days, the closer to my goals and my dreams I feel. And that's such a good feeling, because, you know, I feel the most alive when I'm creating. I feel the most alive when I've got magic on my fingertips and spells on my lips and smoke in my face. You know, it's just a great time, and I've been feeling really reflective about this time of year because I've gone through so much this year. It's been the worst year of my adult life, actually, and I know that's saying a lot. I've been through a lot in my adult life, and it's just been a lot, because it's been like the very climactic ending to walk through hell, if you will. And now, being back in my own space, I feel like I've needed to like sleep for months almost to like recover, and I feel like I like 2019 went by so fast because I like didn't have time to like enjoy it, I guess, in a way. But that's not true, because this time has always been to develop me in a way that prepares me to enjoy 2020, to really put my best foot forward and do all these things that I've been dreaming of. And it's that time for you too. It's the time for you now to take the time to rest and reflect and be still and silent on what it is that you really want from this life. What do you really want from this life? You know, while we're here, it's of the perspective that we didn't ask to be here, but the reality is that we chose this journey, and right now in your journey, it's really time for you to take your power back, to take your passions back, your fun, your ferocity, your wild side. Take all of it back for you, because you deserve to live a life that is governed by your magic, by your spirit, by your love and your light, not by some ideals or social construct or any sort of peer pressure or opinions of others. None of that matters, because the only thing that matters is you. Physically, you matter. And that is why now is the time to prepare to move and make our moves matter, and to stop sitting in our rooms locked up, scrolling endlessly, binge watching Netflix and watching Dragon Feather's latest videos. As much as they help us, there's a balance. you know, and it's really important to maintain that balance, and it's time to take a look at our habits and what would you be doing right now if you were just left to your own senses, your own self, your own space and thoughts and experience. You know, what if we didn't have this technology in front of us right now? What would you be doing? What would you be doing? And if you're not doing that right now, why not? So what are you going to do? Are you going to get up and go? Are you going to get up and go do those things? Are you so tired because you stay up all night, you got insomnia, maybe because you're not eating very healthy, you eat like shit so you feel like shit? Seems legit, right? No. It's about moving past all of that and upgrading yourself day after day after day. And so, take this time now. You know, 'tis the season to be reflective on this. 'Tis the season to stop and think, to be still and fall with the leaves, change color as we crunch what no longer needs to be in our lives. And as we prepare for the new year, as scary as it may feel, as fast as it may come, and, you know, we're going into 2020, you know, the teens of the 2000s are gone, and they will never come back. And that is something that has really blown me away and has made me feel like an adult. I feel old a little bit, but like I don't feel old because my mentality will always keep me young. In the past, I feel like the only kinds of magic that I would really do for this time of year is pretty much the dark stuff. I would like only do like banishing spells or binding spells, or like a return to sender spell, or like shadow work or protection magic. Like I would never do anything really outside of the realm of on the darker side of the craft. And now this Samhain, I have just been so inspired to, well, of course, do shadow work. I do shadow work like every Samhain. It's just a part of my practice. But instead of just focusing on that shadowy side, like this year, I've been really pushed to cast the spells that I want to cast because I've wanted to cast them for so long. And just because like it's Samhain doesn't mean you have to do like a spooky spell, you know what I mean? Like that's not a requirement. It's just doing whatever feels the best. And to me, what feels the best this year is just working as much magic as I can for all the things that I want in my life. It's been kind of intense to focus so much on magic in my practice recently, and that's something that this autumn season has really kind of like developed in me. And as a practitioner who's been practicing for so long, I can't really get to the next step by practicing the basics still, if you know what I mean. And I have just been really moved to, you know, take that next step and really push myself and really just like see what I can do, like how far can I go, and doing all this type of magic on a normal basis and being in a space where I can like say, hey, it's okay for you to cast this spell. Hey, it's okay for you to work magic. It's not like a last resort like it used to be when I was a beginner. Because granted, that did serve me well when I was a beginner. You know, like it was very good for me to not rely on spell casting when I was learning. But now that I have been practicing for so long, there's so many reasons why I should be using my magic. And only now have I really been drawn by my guardians and spirit guides and those beyond the veil, ancestors and what have you. I've really been pushed by them specifically to take my power to its fullest potential, not to be afraid of pushing past limitations and what I previously thought possible, but really just taking the opportunity to use my magic to benefit my life and to use my magic the way I desire to help me get and create the world that I want to live in. And that has been something that I just don't think I would have come to the conclusion to if it wasn't Samhain, if that makes sense. Like, right now it's all about rest, reflection, and rebirth, and taking that time to rest after I've been through so much, especially if you guys have been through so much. If you've lost a lot, like I have this year, then you really need to take that time to rest and replenish yourself, because when you don't, you just feel drained, and then everything you do is affected. The quality of life is affected, and I don't want my quality of life to be affected anymore. Like, that's just not for me. And that's why I'm so grateful that this season has brought about this like change in me to really go for this, to really tackle that desire to cultivate my magical practice on a more advanced scale, which is just exciting for me, because this is what I've always wanted. I've always wanted to practice witchcraft. From the moment that I knew Harry Potter was a thing, to me mixing a bunch of random things as a child and calling it a potion, I've always wanted magic to be real. And now that I know that magic is real, and it feels the most real during Samhain, I feel so alive. And that feeling, that good feeling, that vibration that you have when you feel so good, putting that into your magic just makes it so much better. It's stupid. It's like, wow. It's like you thought you were doing your best normally. Nah, dude. Make sure you feel the greatest that you possibly can before you do your magic, and then go into that shit. And that's why I think so many of us do so well with magic during this time of year, because we really feel like ourselves. We're in our own element, and we really can embrace that part of ourselves. We don't have to be ashamed of what we look like. We can literally go outside and cast a spell in the middle of the street during Halloween night, and nobody probably would bat an eye. Or they would probably just think it was some cool spooky display. But even if that's the case, even if they think it may not be real, it's not about anyone else's experience but your own. And this is something that's been really important to me, because doing this 31 Days of Samhain series that I have on the channel, and doing so much Halloween themed content for you guys during this time of year, really puts a lot of workload on me, and I haven't really allowed myself to enjoy Samhain the past few years, because I've just been so busy working. And this year has been really profound for me, because it's been the first year that I really felt like I was working in harmony and balance with my practice, my craft, and what I want to do, and translating that to the camera and showing that part of my practice, that part of my desire to practice, and that magical element, having that translate through the camera and through the audio isn't always the easiest. But I really do hope that this video was a little bit different and fun in that kind of way, me just trying to translate that magic through the internet. But magic has existed far longer than the internet, so you'll have to tell me how it works. Yeah, leave me a comment and let me know. The truth is that no matter what, I feel like I could always do better in my Samhain ritual, and it's something that I wanted to talk about, because I see in my comment sections from you guys saying oh, I missed it, I didn't get to do it the way that I wanted to, or I was busy, or I fell asleep, or you just it didn't happen the way that you planned, and so you just give up and you don't try to make an experience for yourself. And that's what I wanted to touch upon, because when I would do some of my Samhain rituals would sometimes be as simple as no materials, just meditating and thinking and reflecting and stuff, and I would almost beat myself up for that. But it's I'm missing the bigger picture. It's not about how can I one up myself and my ritual from last year. No, that's not how it works. It's about how can I create this environment, this experience, this feeling inside of myself, this magical vibration that allows me to direct this energy force through me to create and manifest what I desire inside my mind. How can I bring that forth from my brain into the physical world and using magic is just one of the many ways we can get there. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to memorize your lines. You don't have to, you know, be sky clad when you do it. You don't have to have all the candles and all the pretty altar items like I do have, you know, but like my altar's a mess right now, and like sometimes that's fine. You know, it's not about that. It's about the internal and how that is in relation to the external. And it's not about how the external can create an internal experience. It's about how your internal state of mind and being can create your external life experience. And Samhain really helps me focus on that. And it really helps remind me of that. And it's just a really good time to remember that now is all we have. So you better do what you want now, or you'll never have that tomorrow. And a lot of people never get that tomorrow, you know. We lose people so suddenly sometimes, and it is the most devastating thing that I can think of in this world. And for those of you guys who have lost someone, like me, I've lost a few people this year, and it's been really rough. But for those of you guys, just know you're not alone. It's a part of this life. Those who you've lost are with you still. They're beyond the veil, and all you gotta do is light a candle for them, bring them something to offer them, call upon them, speak with them, sit with them, spend time with them, and they will be with you. And that is how we keep them alive, is by making sure that we never stop engaging with their energy as long as we have the ability to engage with them while we are here. So before we get on out of here, I wanted to talk about some like goals and plans and ideas and endeavors that I have that I wanted to focus on for 2020. And at the top of my list is to focus on taking actions that inspire me, that bring me to places that are closer to where I dream to be, that are in alignment with what I dream to do, and taking actions that put me out of my comfort zone to connect with people of like minds and make things happen that would not have if I didn't take these actions. And this is honestly just for me personally, because I don't know if you guys out there as an Aquarius or as fixed signs in the zodiac, if you struggle with moving, and maybe you struggle with like procrastination or something like that. I don't know, but I know that I do, and I know that I really like to do things last minute. Like even this video was done very last minute. I had like an idea, and then as creating it like took me in a different direction, and it's out late, right? So like I want to take these actions and take the initiative to like really plan these actions, so the actions that I do take are thoughtful and meaningful and purposeful, and they mean more, they matter more that way. And it's just really important for me to not sit on my ass so much, and I think that you probably do the same. So you should join me in this and get up and do stuff, because it's really good for us to keep moving like that and to get up and do things. And the next one is to just be as creative as I possibly can be. I want to challenge myself every day to be creative in some way that is not only for the benefit of myself, but something that I can share with others. And sharing my creativity with others is something that's really important to me, and I wouldn't be where I am in my life right now if it wasn't for the fact that I share my creativity with so many of you guys, and you guys like to enjoy it. And that just like means the world to me that you enjoy my art, because my videos are art. It's a way for me to express myself creatively, and it's an outlet, and it's really therapeutic for me, and it's a way for me to get all the thoughts that are in my head out there. And it's just really good to do that in general, you know. And I'm just grateful that I have this place to do that. And so for this new year, I want to make sure that I truly take advantage of that, and I truly push myself creatively in ways that I've never done before, that really challenge me to go beyond what I thought possible. because anything is possible, you know? You just gotta believe in it, and you gotta see it and feel it like it's already yours. And I've been so sad for so long, guys. Like, I've been in such a very depressed, stagnant, anxious, just gross place mentally and in my life, and I feel like I'm always 3 steps behind where I want to be, and it's just not that way anymore, and it's never going to be that way again. And the only way it's getting better is because I will it so. I will it to be the way I desire, because I deserve that. Deserve to have that kind of life, and you deserve to have the kind of life that manifests in a way that you dream it to. The only way to get there is to take those actions and to be creative and to, again, do everything in my power to become self-sufficient is like the last thing that I really want to accomplish this year. And if I can really push myself to take actions that may make me uncomfortable to grow, if I can truly, sincerely, and wholeheartedly push myself out of my comfort zone so I can just be creative as much as I can and make as many of the ideas in my mind come to life as I can. And if I just do those things, I know that I will be exactly where I am supposed to be. And, you know, it may have taken me a while to get here. But now that I'm here, I don't want to go back to the way things used to be for my life. The chapter's closed, it's done, and I'm never looking back. And this Samhain has been a celebration and an acknowledgement of that past self that no longer exists, no longer needs to exist, no longer has a purpose, but had its purpose in time. And I needed to be the person who I was. I needed to be that dark and negative at the time, because I wouldn't have appreciated how incredible life is now. So thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you guys had a blessed Samhain and it was wonderful. Please check out my Patreon if you want to help support content like this, and a special thank you to Wish for being the channel partner and making this content possible. I really appreciate you, and I'm super excited to share this with you guys. I've been working on it for a long time now, and I hope you enjoy. But until next time, stay geeky and shaky and freaky, little hatchlings. But blessed be and by my loves. Oh yes, and don't forget, stay spooky.